These are all curtains from Goodwill. I washed and dried them, and now I'm gonna make myself a little mini wardrobe capsule out of curtains. The two fabrics that I've chosen for today made me think of the 60s with a graphic short dress and the 50s for a bold bolero jacket. And here is what it turned out to be in case you don't want to stick around for the entire journey. I made a 1950s, 60s inspired ensemble and I very much love it. So if you'd like to join me, come along and I will show you how I made this from 2 panels of curtains. All right, this is what we're going for. So let's just see what inspires us. So I have patterns from the 19 teens all the way till present day, and I like digging through all of them to give me inspiration for shapes and styles. Torn between something like this. I don't want the straps to look that simple, but I do want the bottom to be that simple. In the 1960s, boat neck on that. However, I think I want to go with this one. It is going to be this dress in the middle, but I just want it to be really simplified. I really like how it's just got the straight zipper in the back and then it's just got a couple of darts. And this one is from 2017. Now, as far as the jacket goes, this is also 2017. I really love this jacket. I love this cape, by the way, but I'm not going to make it. This is a shirt, 1973, but I very much do love the sleeves. This is a valance. This is a curtain. I may or may not even follow a pattern. I just enjoy looking at patterns to give me ideas, to give me inspiration. Do I want it to close on the side? Do I want it to stay open? Again, I don't have to actually open any of these. This is from the year 2000, and I really like the back on that one. And again, if I don't have enough fabric to even finish my dress, that back is not only interesting, but it could actually work. Regardless of what you've drawn, what you've pulled, what you have, just enjoy it and have fun and not be so worried about it turning out the way you think it should. Let's get started. Turns out the back of A and B actually have the back that I was talking about before, which I can actually use this back instead of this back. So I'm going to use the back of A and the bottom of C. And now it's time to find the pattern pieces in here. There are a bunch. A little bit of pattern ASMR for you here. If you sew, you know. How this all came in here, I'll never know, but she did. That's why I open a lot of these up and put them in one of these, because it's impossible sometimes to get this back in there. I have washed and dried all of these pieces. Ooh, it's gonna be very cute. And then cutting out and ironing the pattern pieces as well. Let's talk about patterns for a second. No two humans are alike, no two patterns are alike. It's very important that if you hopefully have a dress form to work with or your own body to work with, to understand what size you should be. I recommend cutting these out on the highest size available. Find your way towards the size. I know that I am smaller on top than I am on the bottom because I am very short-waisted and so my hips come up very high. So I can squeeze my upper body into whatever size outfit I want. My bottom, however, is what it is. I have to be really careful that I make this wide enough for myself. A size 12 is pretty much pushing the boundaries of me. The top I cut out a 4, just so you know the difference between these sizes. This is a modern pattern. Technically, I'm a 2 or a 4 in modern clothing, but I've been sewing long enough to know that I should never trust a pattern. I cut out a 12 on the bottom, a 4 on the top, and that's all in the same pattern. So just be careful. Cut out, so just so you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles with these patterns. Measure many times, cut once, cut again, and then cut again, then cut again. That was just a PSA. And now for my favorite part, I am placing the bottom hem of the dress at the bottom hem of the curtains so that I don't have to do the finishing hems, which is so much fun with making clothing out of other pre-made articles of clothing or curtains or what have you. These are my leftover scraps. Don't forget to stay hydrated and eat. And now I am just taking the pieces, pinning them to my dress form. As you'll see, I've got a nice little station here. Got the dress form, the iron station, and the sewing station. And I'm literally just going back and forth between the 3. And I think I got pretty darn close to my sketch there. I've now placed this on my body, pinned it, so I can then start the bolero. I spent a lot of time just kind of placing this on the dress form, trying to figure out how I was going to stitch this. Once again, I allowed the actual valance itself to help me out because it is pre-lined and the shape is so unique. I was able to just kind of wrap it around my body and make that the actual vest. And as you can see, I have this little white spots on my shoulders. That's where I actually just folded over the fabric and stitched it to itself. And now I'm adding the sleeves. So once again, I'm just kind of cutting, pinning, trying it on, putting it on the dress form, stitching it up, and rinse and repeat. The sleeves I wanted to be very, very strong, and so they essentially look like little kids' swimmy arms, but I really think they turned out really cool. Okay, let's recap where we left off. I've got my 60s inspired dress here, my seaming darts in here, a beautiful hourglass within the dress because she is sort of boxy, which I really wanted her to stay boxy. My cowl neck, which I very much love. I can fold this over if I want it to be a little more demure. Please forgive me, I had to. I just dated this video. Now when you hear a little bit demure, a little bit mindful, you know exactly the week that I've uploaded this. I'm not mad at it. Anyway, the back here, I'm gonna probably put some iron hooks there to close that up. It's a fairly heavy fabric because it is a curtain or it was a tablecloth. I'm not 100% sure which it was because it was awfully short to be curtains. It's a very thick panel, so I may or may not have to line this because you really can't see your skin through there. So I'm kind of excited about how nice and thick this is, how boxy it is. Now for my jacket. I love this thing so much. I still need to stitch my sleeves on here. It is just pinned inside, so I need to stitch the inside there. And I'm probably gonna have to do some hand sewing to keep this folded over in the manner that I want it folded over. It has this beautiful hem, this pre-made hem. These spaces that had the white fabric, I actually covered with more fabric. And I'm gonna have to attach something around the neck. So I still need to come up with a neck band for that. But, oh, I love her. So, I'm gonna finish up these steps and then we're gonna have a little runway show and I hope you love it. Thank you. Okay, final stage. As I said, I'm stitching up the sleeves of the bolero. I then need to put a neckband on there. So I'm just grabbing extra fabric and I'm just pinning it to the jacket and then I will stitch it up and be done with the jacket. Quick lesson on needles. You can see that this needle is so much longer than this needle. I needed to use this needle to sew my jacket because it was upholstery fabric that was lined and layered, multiple layers. And so it had to be able to get through that particular fabric. Just see the difference in the size of these needles. And so I have to switch back to this one for my dress. Otherwise it's gonna break my thread. And it is very important to use the correct needle. So there you go. The more you know. Okay, so now I'm finishing up adding the zipper inside of the dress. I will add the hooks and eyes and I'll be ready in 3, 2, 1. And here she is. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with this 1950s, 1960s inspired ensemble. If you actually know me in person, this is how I truly do love to dress. Please join me for my next installment of Goodwill Curtains Wardrobe Capsule.